And spawning in the top right-hand side of the map, it is for KC Gaming, Reynor.
Down here on the bottom left-hand side of the map, the blue Zerg player from Team Liquid. He is Elazer. I've got to say, Cats, do you follow Elazer on Instagram?
I do, but I don't use Instagram much.
Okay, it has become one of my favorite things about Elazer is just watching him post all of his fitness stuff lately. Yeah. Because he has been going ham on that stuff where he is like, he's basically just starting to walk in handstands. Like he's just, really? I feel like he's eventually going to hit a point where I think right now he's running like 5 or 7 kilometers every day or something. I feel like he's going to start running those 7 kilometers on his hands. That seems to be the direction and the goal that he's moving forward to. It's pretty impressive. It's pretty cool. It's great to see pro players taking care of like themselves and being healthy.
Yeah, at the same time, if he starts doing that, I feel like his level in StarCraft is going to drop quite considerably because, I mean, your wrists cannot like that, so...
Or maybe he's strengthening his wrist, so he'll be even more prepared for long game.
Ah, yeah, I mean, you could see it that way, but yeah, I aren't think that. So, yeah, I mean, this map is going to be pretty standard here, actually. Elazer not leaving his second overlord. You see that second overlord there from Reynor that's staying here? Even on a large map like this is very rare. But I don't know if you remember the Reynor versus Serral, where Serral did that proxy hatchery and then canceled it to make a spine that was in range of the creep as this hatchery spawned. And apparently that was just a few like maybe like a few weeks ago. It was recent in any case. And apparently after that, I was talking to Scarlett, and all of the pros kind of like adopted that, or a lot of high-level players adopted that strategy for a while, and that has just kind of become the response to it. Is you leave the overlord right outside of your base to scout for the drone. Because I played a game against Scarlett on the ladder, and she left her overlord, and I was like, why? Like I asked her, like, why did you leave your overlord there? Because it's such a large map. I'm not gonna 12 pull you there. It seems disrespectful to me. And she was like, oh no, this is just standard now because of that one match of Serral versus Reynor. So very cool to see on the side of Reynor, but Elazer didn't do it, so maybe exploitable for the rest of the matchup.
Yeah, very cool to see and just to think about. And like you were saying, it goes to show that both these players are also the kind of players who would absolutely pull off something like that. Yeah. Or they're both willing to be a little bit cheekier. So always fun to see those kind of little mind games and small little details that are going to be going into the way that these two players have to face off against each other. But all of that said and done, it's pretty much mirrored openings for both sides. They're both going to be going for those forward third bases, get up roughly the same number of lings, push the opponents away, and it's really going to move toward, I guess, like the Baneling Nest stage. And we'll see if these players, if either one of them really wants to commit to the aggression. Because again, Elazer, he really does seem to pride himself on finding kind of timings in early game aggression. And he was saying he was trying to play a little bit more to that. There are a few opportunities for that in ZVZ.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be 12 links against 10 if Elazer wants to, well, now 8, if Elazer wants to try to exploit that at all. But Reynor will have a Baneling Nest and already a Baneling Morphin, so nothing much should come out of this. However, Reynor should pull ahead in workers eventually on the back of what, on the back of making less Zerglings effectively. So now catching up, Elazer does hold that lead for a sec here.
Yeah, tiny little lead there. Now, Elazer is skipping any Banelings himself, especially since,
that's
like
true.
You said, he has a little bit of a Ling lead anyways, so I think he's probably not as worried. Although, as I say that, Caster Curse, a couple of Banelings are getting morphed in as he also starts up a slightly faster Rochefort and also adding on a handful more Lings, maybe looking to get a little bit more aggressive with those Banelings.
Yeah, and actually, I was wondering why Reynor didn't have a drone advantage, and the main reason, now he will get it, but the main reason prior to that was he dropped an Evo Chamber, and I assumed the Elazer had 2, but the Elazer did not. So that Evo Chamber, it's worth 2 workers and a half, effectively, and that is kind of the reason for that, but also the reason that Elazer is going to be trailing behind here in terms of upgrades if he wants to go into the road moves, which he is. He's all-inning, I think.
Yeah, 2 Banelings for Elazer, both to blow up on the Banelings over there for Reynor. Reynor's getting so much counter damage done with these Lings, though. Elazer finally realizes what's going on. He's going to be finally able to start dealing with that, but God.
Complete chaos, though. And the Queen gets taken down on Reynor's side of things. Elazer trying to micro his Lings out, but now with this new Link spawning from Reynor, they are going to be doomed. However, that does buy Elazer a lot of time to move out on the map. Reynor now dropping a kind of a desperation spine crawler. This is looking like a very strong attack from Elazer, who stopped at 38 workers, and again is not upgrading, right? So this is very much an all-in, as we see only Lings in production now on the side of the pole.
This is going to be an important attack for Elazer to make work. The Banelings managed to get some pretty juicy detonations in terms of stopping up the roaches, but just number-wise, Elazer is completely overpowering Reynor. The spine crawler nearly picked off. Even if it does finish up, it's barely going to be able to survive for very long, and it actually ends up dying immediately to the corrosive bile. You can see that Reynor is not going to be able to hold on to that third base, but he may not even be able to hold on to his natural anymore.
It looks pretty over. It looks very difficult. 5 roaches and 8 Lings in production for Reynor here. The Baneling was detonated unnecessarily onto a spine that was doomed anyway from the corrosive bile of Elazer, but it's not going to matter by the looks of it. However, if these Lings do end up holding, that is the moment that I would look back at and kind of question whether you needed to use or spend that Baneling for that spine. Reynor is just trying to stabilize at his natural expansion. It's going to be extremely difficult still. As we see, the third is pretty much has to be forfeit. I'm surprised Reynor's trying even to move out here.
Yeah, pulling drones even all the way over to that third base. It's not going to end up working out. Ling's still continuing to overwhelm. That is one thing that sometimes feels like it's going okay for Reynor, is that Elazer is reinforcing with so many Lings that maybe sometimes it feels like he could try to mount some sort of defense at that wall, but it just never ends up working out entirely. Drones being pulled off the line again, and this is where now Elazer takes a worker lead. Not only is he also still mining off his third base, which Reynor isn't anymore, but he's actually just ahead 7 workers now.
Yeah, Elazer's going to evacuate the Ravager and the Roach here from the natural. The Bile actually lands on nicely onto one of the last few remaining units for Reynor. And Elazer thinks better of that morph, but this is a little bit too much. GG incoming in the next few seconds here, as Reynor's going to spot the amount of units that Elazer has and know that there is no hope. Elazer retains his undefeated streak so far.
Really incredible aggression there from Elazer. It looked like it was going to be potentially a little bit dicey, as the Ling counterattack from Reynor was getting a surprising amount of damage because Elazer was just busy microing on the other side of the map. But Elazer was able with those reinforcements. And I guess what you were talking about, right? It was just that aggression was just super duper strong, and Reynor was not quite prepared for it. I really felt like that was going to be the case.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, difficult to hold, especially from a player like Elazer, who is kind of like, you were talking about it earlier too, right? Like kind of playing to his strengths. This is, you know, kind of one of his strengths is just reinforcing, attacking, aggression, micro. He is very good at all of those. And to your point, the counter attack with the Lings, I mean, if you pull the workers a couple of seconds or even a second later than Elazer did, then your Queen is going to fall without tanking damage for those Lings, and your drones are not going to be able to clean up. So in the chaos as well, to recognize that you need to aid that Queen to save the drones at the third, very important move there, and very good reactions from the pole.
I actually want to mention something. Again, constant disclaimer that I'm not an admin. Do not take my word as gospel on this. But because I believe the groups, the way that the actual the placement and everything for first, second, and everything is done, is it's actually based off of map, like the map score difference. It's not based off the series score, I believe. So what that actually means is that Elazer taking that victory, I actually think that now Reynor can't catch up in the map score difference anymore. I believe Elazer may have actually secured first place in the group now. We'll wait to see whether or not that's the case, but that actually could have been a very important victory for him.
Okay, everyone quote Ravi if that's not the case, to make sure that Elazer advances, and call out on the injustice of the oppressive mods otherwise. However, we are loaded into this game now. It is the second one. Elazer leads 1-0, and the man to try to stop him here on the largest map in the map pool is for Kaisi Gaming, Reynor.
And up here in the top left-hand side of the map, leading up the series 1-0, he is the undefeated this season Zerg player from Team Liquid, Elazer.
sharp as Elazer. He sometimes streams his workouts too on Discord.
Oh, yeah. That, I had the privilege at TSL of working out with Elazer, and I've got to say, he's in shape, man.
Yeah, he's in shape for sure.
I've also gotten confirmation from our admin, by the way. Ravi's math is right, but it doesn't matter because both players are 6-0. Whoever wins ends the group 7-0, and the other one 6-1. Okay.
So your your assumption was wrong, and it's series based.
Yeah, I suppose I guess it is series based. I actually, I must have misread the rules on Wikipedia then about how the tiebreakers and stuff work.
Admins make it up, man, as we go. I'm telling you, never.
Admins just making up as they go. you go back through the Wikipedia history. It's just Sinestro editing the rules.
I mean, it's in his name, Sinister man.
No, we love you, Sinestro. We know
we
that
love you, Sinestro.
We know that you're not making up the rules.
You're well. Is that even true? I feel that Sinestro does make up the rules, but not on the fly.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
He makes the most beautiful spreadsheets. I've worked with Sinestro before on a couple of StarCraft-related projects. His spreadsheets are immaculate.
They truly are. I don't know if you actually know this. He also wrote out the rules for advancement on one of the spreadsheets. It's on the predictor tab of one of the spreadsheets we've been given.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, we have so many tools that I never even know about, so that's good to know about now, but I feel like a little bit too late in the day for that. This game, however, for the people that are about to start saying in about 5 seconds, we have a leash, right? As far as how much fill in and how much banter and how much just we can talk before there is that one guy in chat who says, talk about the game. And the game is now being talked about. As nothing really has happened for links in production for either player. Baneling Nest, so both playing it very safe, very standard openings here to the quick third on a very large map. So the cool thing about this map is we could see Lynx play a larger role than normal, as well as Muta, just because of the distances and because of the propensity for both of these players for aggression and multitasking.
Yeah, we do actually see that Reynor is flooding out just a handful more Lings than his opponent, but he's also starting up the Banelings a little bit faster.
Nasty.
I do want to take a look and see the Banelings are on the other side of the map, so I think he is looking to get aggressive here.
Yeah, this is pretty cool from Reynor because he kind of leads the links of Elazer that we're looking to scout us straight to the left, and then he takes the right, and his Overlord is also spotting the Overlord of Elazer, so he knows that he's not spotted if he continues to go down, but now is spotted by the next Overlord anyway, so all of his efforts were in vain. As these Banelings are looking to connect, they will actually find really nice connections onto those Zerglings. This Baneling from Elazer is trying to finish morphing the drones, aiding it in the process. It will be allowed to finish as a result, and with these two more Banelings arriving from Elazer, it looks like he should be, or should have the tools at least, to be able to deflect the aggression. It's always difficult to say he should be able to deflect the aggression when you're going up against Reynor, though.
Yeah, honestly, really impressive play from both these players and really nice micro, but Elazer manages to somehow get out of that, only losing a single drone, and I think he did make fewer overall Lings. He also lost a handful of Lings, but I mean, super solid defense there from Elazer. I feel like he kind of walks away better off from that. I feel like it's justified by the fact that they both have the same worker count, but there are 0 Lings out on the map right now for Reynor. They're only just now popping, but there's 25 for Elazer and 4 Baneling.
Ooh, yeah, and this is getting a little bit dangerous. Elazer is taking 4 gases. I think he wants to go for Muta, but doesn't have the gas quite yet, and he's not saturating it because he's paying attention to the front here. Reynor did scout the timing of the lair, so if Elazer wants to go for a Spire, every second that you delay it, it's not great, because Reynor, as soon as he sees that lair morphing, he drops his Roach Warren. So potential for him to try to counter, for him to try to punish this is big. But there's the Spire. I mean, that's like a full minute late after the lair finishes. So, if Reynor is looking to exploit that timing, that's an extra minute that he has to work with as far as when he hits before the Muta are out.
That is definitely going to be true, and he's going to have to be very wary about that. Now, I guess one kind of advantage is that Elazer did have still a handful of units out of the map that are keeping Reynor from kind of poking his way too much further forward. He hasn't really been able to get into the main base or the natural or anything to get a proper scout in. So we'll see. Reynor is making a lot of units right now, Cats, and he's kind of halted at that 53 or 54-ish drones.
Yeah, he's gonna go for Ling Ravager potentially, as he does have a little bit of gas to spare there, and he is getting the Carapace upgrades. As you mentioned, now Reynor is trying to go for the multi-prong harassment here, and I'm not sure how Elazer is gonna react to that. For the time being, it's Roaches, which is exactly what he needs, but he needs them now. This is getting really dangerous for Elazer, and Reynor trying to punish the timing over the potential Spire, which should already be done and producing Muta had Elazer dropped it in time, but he was a little bit too focused on the units that he had to work with on the other side of the map at that point in time. So now Elazer trying to hold for dear life, but it's looking very, very difficult.
Definitely going to be difficult. A lot of Roaches are going to be popping out right over here at the site of the fight, but does Elazer actually have the reinforcing capabilities to hold on? There's no Mutas on the way. It's just non-stop Roaches. He's already dropped quite a few workers. 10 workers going down. You can see Elazer is down almost 15 total compared to Reynor, who's continuing to run up behind this. These Mutas have to do damage now.
Yeah, I mean, they will buy Elazer a lot of space, especially if Reynor is not looking to capitalize, so that's nice. Elazer should start droning right now as he sees the Reynor backing away, basically, like the aggression kind of stopping. So there's the droning up from Elazer, a little bit slow to recognize that he will get map control with this, but it's understandable too, because if Reynor had been reinforcing, if Reynor had continued to make units, then you make drones and you're dead. So now that the Muta are out, Elazer will get map control. That is the opportunity to resaturate his third as fast as possible. But he's not really droning as fast as you can here. Now with the classic Elazer overlords as well, it's going to be 3 of them at a time as he supply blocked at 114. That's why he's not droning. That's rough.
Yeah, a little unfortunate, but I guess hopefully compensated by the fact that the Mutas are also getting quite a few overlords and supply blocking Reynor for a little bit as well. But yeah, these Mutas, they'll be looking for some damage.
Interesting.
They're in a good
spot. That was ambitious. That was really ambitious going after the Queen. He could have picked up 2 drones instead and lose some Muta in the process. And these Roaches have no business being out on the map either. So really just Elazer just trying to make the game as chaotic and kind of random as he can, it almost feels like. But this attack was just not it. I think he should have just tried to get map control and ascertain that with the Muta and try to drone up and restabilize. Of course, he feels behind from the earlier altercations, but yeah, I don't think the game needed to end right there and then.
Yeah, a really solid attack there from Reynor that was able to secure kind of like that overall lead. And like you were saying, little things like the Muta's not coming out quite as quickly as they maybe could have, just because Elazer was focused on making additional units and other things. Definitely ended up coming to bite him in the butt there. But at the end of the day, Reynor takes the first map off of Elazer. Elazer finally drops a map. So we head on to Tropical Sacrifice to determine who is going to be the first seed in this group. And it's really all just coming down to this final map now.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize that wasn't a choice. Like the choice that Elazer was signaling from or from was, I want to make a lair, right? That's going to be for Aspire. So that was his choice. I'm going to take extra gases. So obviously, if you take extra gases, you want to mine them. So the choices that he made in his head were not concordant with what actually happened in the game because he had those units to play with. So it wasn't that he made those units and that screwed him over. Controlling those units and trying to, like, basically biting more than you can chew in that instance made it so that he didn't saturate one of the gases in his main. And as a result, he didn't have the gas to drop the Spire as fast as he could. So yeah, that was a problem for him.
Definitely makes sense. Well, we're heading into game number 3 here. We're going to be starting up at the top right-hand side of the map, on top of the Italian Stallion from Kaizi Gaming. He is Reynor.
And in the bottom left-hand side, he may no longer be undefeated in the groups, but he still has a chance to have the most impressive win record out of anyone. It is for Team Liquid, Elazer.
And this is going to be a fight to determine which player is possibly going to have to face off versus someone like Cyril or Hero Marine, and who is going to instead be able to get someone that I won't say is a lot easier, but, you know, might be considered a little bit more manageable, like a Skilless or a Showtime or something.
For sure. Yeah, and Elazer once again not leaving the Overlord outside of his base. And still undetermined for Reynor, but the pathing for the second Overlord of Elazer suggests that that won't be the case. So this is something that, you know, if you're a player that's looking to exploit Elazer, if you have studied him, you could probably do that. A little bit of a sore spot perhaps for Reynor, because Serral kind of revealed that strategy against him, just showing his, you know, his brilliance, not just to play the game at the highest possible level, but also to innovate and to come up with new and cool solutions, and that build is extremely powerful. It blew my mind when I saw it, because I've experimented with proxy hatchers into spines, but what Serral did was to put it in that little spot where it's unspotted and the creep spreads to it. It's just so freaking cool, and I can't believe it took 10 years for anyone to think of it. And of course it would be the GOAT that did, but yeah, that is kind of in the players' back pockets now, right? And I'm surprised that Elazer is not really looking to account for it. That said, Reynor also not accounting for it in this map.
Yeah, seems like it's not going to necessarily be on either one of their minds. And I guess in the end, ends up being the right decision, as neither one of them are really going to be going for it either. So
yeah,
get into a more normal looking game. Tropical Sacrifice, definitely one of those maps where I always feel like the third bases are sometimes a little bit scarier to defend and stuff. I feel like I see so many games where the third aggression on the third base or something starts spiraling out of control. Just getting your queens back and forth between the natural and the third and stuff can feel like a pain, but we'll see how these players decide to play it out.
For sure. As it looks like both players are going to be expanding vertically here, whereas in the previous map, Elazer actually chose to expand closer to his opponent, which could have been dangerous. So yeah, we're just kind of chilling here. Players expanding away from each other, right? And this is going to be a pretty normal game with the mailing nest now going down for Elazer. Expect the same from Reynor pretty soon here.
Yeah, I'm curious. Would you want to see another kind of like early, like pre-layer aggression coming out of Elazer and stuff? Because I think it worked out pretty well, but it also felt like it was the reason why it worked out pretty well in game number 1 was it kind of caught Reynor off guard. And as I say that, we actually see Reynor is actually flooding out quite a few lings right now.
Yeah, and I like that from Reynor as well, because that's one of the best ways to deflect aggression, is to be aggressive yourself, right? If you are aggressive, you are keeping tabs of your opponent and scouting them at the same time. So just kind of middle of the road, like aggression is a safe way to play this matchup. And in this particular matchup, because links are the fastest unit both to make and to cross the map, it makes it so that they have to be reacted to and responded to. And this is what the criticism for a lot of the Europeans to the Korean CVC style was, wow, they just do random timings. But I never faulted the Koreans for doing that, because links are the type of unit that will elicit a reaction no matter what. And it's got to be a quick reaction. So you don't really get much of a lead by, by trying to bypass making circlings.
Yeah, Reynor losing quite a few lings in those little trades there, though, I think he ends up losing almost like 11 lings to 6. So we're starting to see that Elazer's ling count is growing a lot faster than Reynor's right now. And, well, that actually enables Elazer to get a bit more aggressive himself with his lings and his banelings. And Reynor has to halt a bit of that droning. That might actually allow Elazer to climb a little bit further ahead in worker count.
Yeah, but he's going to be a little bit paranoid about this counter run by here. One circling will make its way into the natural, but the rest of them just go for the potentially easier drones to take down on the third. There's less of them, however. And yeah, this is not ideal for Elazer, because like you said, he had the larger army. So ideally, he would be on the other side of the map. But Reynor, I mean, do you really want to try to out-multitask Reynor and hope that he doesn't land great baneling shots and doesn't catch your army off guard while he is doing damage on the other side? It's a tall task, even for a player as fast and as adept as Elazer, so difficult to fault him for going back there.
Yeah, speed is not exactly something that anyone would cite Reynor as having a weakness in.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be tough. But hey, these speed lings do manage to make their way into the main base over here for Reynor. Reynor is quick to react, but Elazer still has enough lings that he's able to snag 2 worker kills over here. He tries to send a couple more lings over the corner. He does. Almost manages to get into the natural unscathed, but ends up eating a baneling. Yeah,
I mean, even if he got into the natural, he would have run into the army of Reynor, which he knows is there. So that was never a good move from Elazer. And yeah, now he's in a lot of trouble. Reynor has a massive army here. Elazer is trying to do what he can to get his own roaches out to try and defend. But with losing that many links, I mean, it's not going to be particularly easy here, as he is already trailing 4 workers behind as well. So this aggression from Reynor doesn't technically need to do anything, as long as it keeps Elazer producing while Reynor drones up. this is excellent for Reynor.
Yeah, and I do think that Elazer has the numbers he needs to hold on, but like you were saying, he has definitely fallen 10 workers behind in the worker counts, and he's still making additional army supply and actually getting a little supply block there as well, so having to start up more overlords. Reynor is actually just sneaking in 1 or 2 drones here and there as he also continues to produce enough army to make sure he doesn't just, you know, die to a counterattack or something.
Yeah, it's beautifully done from the Italian here. I mean, yeah, those trades from Elazer are what makes him have to make units instead of drone, and now puts him in a very disadvantageous position where he feels like he has to maybe make something happen, at least feign aggression just like Reynor did, show him that his army is out and about, to force your opponent to make units instead of drones. At least then you know that you're not falling as behind economically. And we'll see if he chooses to commit. I think it might be a mistake for him to do that, but he thinks otherwise. I mean, these are slow roaches. It's so difficult to assess. And now with the link reinforcements, oh, Baneling flank, this could be good. Nice spread from Reynor, but is it going to be enough? Queens are trying to get involved here, but Elazer with good numbers here. Reynor needs to rely on defensive capabilities here to try and hold. This fight is not going to finish. It will be targeted down by Elazer, and is Elazer doing it out of nowhere? I mean, he's just reinforcing now. He's in full Elazer mode. No more drones being added. Only Zerglings, which is the right choice. You need perfect injects to make something like this work, and he has had him so far by the looks of it because he is not looking to stop.
Yep. Elazer is effectively all in during all of this. Reynor went for roach speed. He had +1 missile attack on the way. He needed to get something done over here, and Elazer looks like he's starting to break through.
Yeah, he's done it. I mean, this looks extremely difficult now for Reynor, who continues to try to reinforce here down this ramp. He doesn't want to give up the third because that's as good as dying after having lost 15 workers. But is he going to be able to hold? And the tech is not going to aid him at all here in this process. So, yeah, it's going to be serious for Elazer by the looks of it. It looks very, very good for him. And right now he has the option to start droning or to try to kill his opponent. I would not mind just to start droning. Very likely he can kill his opponent, however.
Yeah, I mean, I like that he was able to actually get up his lair during all of this, just sneak that in while also maintaining, you know, roughly double the army supply lead. So I think that was an important aspect of it, because now he can also just get some safety in the back of his mind with a roach speed upgrade and everything else.
I thought this was so beautifully played from Reynor up until that point. I mean, it really